I must admit that even I have blind spots for certain units and or spells, and Soul Quench is one of those that for a long time I didn't really give much heed to, didn't really think about it too much, but recently I've seen quite a few replays where it's been used to good effect. Here, the Normans taking it against Warriors of Chaos, and the intent is going to be right away to try and destroy these Hell Cannons here with it. So just go over the rest of the builds. Obviously, a high Archmage on the Dragon, got some Reaver Archers, Pure Main Company, some Spearmen, and 2 Phoenix Guard, including the Keepers of the Flame here, Illyrian Reavers, Lion Chariots, relatively narrow Elven build. For the Warriors of Chaos, we've got quite a few Horsemen, 3 Horsemen, Poison Warhounds as well, Marauders up front, 1 Aspiring Champ, interesting choice, 1 Forsaken as well, and some Halberds, Chaos Warriors with Halberds. And already you can see the Soul of Damnation has taken significant damage. I believe it was 1 Overcast Soul Quench, just about finished it off. And, you know, the Illyrian Reavers are going to come forwards, skirmish a little bit. They might take some hits. Hell Cannon also kind of poking at those Spearmen over there. I believe this is actually, yeah, Soul of Damnation. So pretty expensive artillery piece, and Soul Quench can shut it down pretty effectively, right? And that's one main use case. I mean, not main use case, but I would say, yeah, like one of the primary use cases for magic missiles is to help destroy artillery pieces, given the accurate fire and kind of the way you can target the piece itself and kind of destroy it. Here we see the next Soul Quench coming in. I believe this is just a standard cast. And there it goes. Had the banner in the way, unfortunately, but you get it. And 1 down, now only 1 to go, and that, I believe, it's like 1,550 points, I want to say, for Soul of Damnation. So that is a significant amount of value that's been lost out already for Warriors of Chaos, and one of the main tools they have for defeating this elite infantry, because, I mean, Phoenix Guards, yes, their weapon strength isn't great, as we know. They're one of the worst elite halberds. I'm not 100% sure if they are the worst, but in my opinion, they're the worst. Is my opinion objective truth? Of course. Anyway, but still, 52 melee defense, you know, good armor and physical resistance, and the ability to get some apotheosis as well. Apotheoses, yeah, you get it. It's a dangerous situation, you know. Like, Sigvald could potentially grind through them, perhaps, but like these warriors with halberds really don't have enough attack to make consistent contact, right? The Forsaken will just wither away and die eventually, even though they might get some damage in. There's just not a lot of tools besides the Hell Cannon for dealing with these elite infantry, right? And with the 1 being down already, it's questionable as to whether this one's got enough ammunition. It's used up quite a bit of its ammunition already. You can see in the background there, taking chunks out of the Keepers of the Flame. And yeah, Dragon just moving in melee, supporting these Reavers, managed to draw out the Poison Warhounds into an unfavorable engagement. Took some damage in the process, but managed to see them off, and now following up on the Marauder Horsemen as well. Sigvald going straight in, going to interrupt the Pure Main Company. Armor will get sundered, and he'll take some damage in this little surround, but he should be able to grind through them. Like I said, Keepers of the Flame have taken pretty significant damage from that Hell Cannon. This other Phoenix Guard unit is totally healthy. Lion Chariots also moving in, going after the Forsaken is a very much ideal target for them. Forsaken are relatively squishy. You have some armor, but just generally lack health and melee defense. The Chariots will do a lot of damage here. They also wreck the Hounds, as Hounds do count as infantry for the purposes of bonuses. Reavers push through. They might be looking to get on the Hell Cannon crew. Aspiring Champs can try and hold them up as best they can, but really won't be able to do much. The Sorcerer of Fire suddenly learns that, you know, Archmage here has a dragon. Sigvald's going to try and come over, pop Slippery, get that extra speed, up to 50 speed. Unfortunately, will not be able to catch. So, yeah, Pure Main Company can continue to follow up, and we'll see if there's any more Soul Quenches. Not really super necessary here. So, might seem odd, just a short highlight, but it was pretty impactful in this battle to be able to take out that super expensive artillery piece, right? And in a build where you didn't necessarily plan for that, like you don't want to bring bolt throwers because, let's be honest, they can be tough to protect sometimes against a concerted rush. But Hell Cannons are definitely a danger in this matchup, so it makes sense to have this magic missile. Of course, the caster on the dragon also self-healing. Dragon potentially pretty decent. I mean, the Moon Dragon's not the best monster in the world, but it's okay. Definitely serviceable. It is a monster, flying monster with breath attacks. So between the breath attacks and the magic missile, having a caster with a magic missile actually on a dragon is kind of nice. It almost makes them like a skirmish lord in a way. That also has pretty good melee potential, but definitely can just hang out in the air and throw, you know, missiles if it needs to. So, interesting. Yeah, very interesting. At this point, balance power still pretty close. Keepers of the Flame actually do end up getting taken down just by sheer weight of numbers, but the Pure Main Company still fighting. This other unit of Phoenix Guard also doing quite well. Rear charge from the Aspiring Champs. You know, the Champs do have 46 attack, right, and magic damage. They might be able to make some contact, but there's only 12 of them. So, how much of a deal is it? Really not much. Looks like this Hell Cannon is out of ammunition, so no longer really a factor in the battle. Yeah, Archmage charges down, get a nice terror out on these halberds, and you can see how, like I said, the Phoenix Guard just trade well enough into the Chaos Warriors with halberds because of the stat differential that they can do okay. They'll eventually grind through, especially with dragon support. Things are looking up. There's still this infantry force, and obviously Sigvald being so healthy is weighing quite heavily on the balance of power, but not looking great for the Warriors of Chaos as the Pure Main Company kind of gets a really good engagement on these champs here. Like 3 or 4 of them per champ is very much ideal. I'll be able to slowly tear them down. Oh yeah, man, champs are so cool looking. Make me super excited for Game 3. But they do die to the Pure Main Company here. Pure Main Company also a pretty cool looking unit. Typical high elf nonsense, but it's all good. Dragon charging down once again. Champs are actually holding here surprisingly well. I mean, it's a lot of RNG considering there's only a few of them, but they do eventually get terrified despite the stand your ground orders from Sigvald. Phoenix Guard once again moving in to kind of intercept, and the Lion Chariot also completely healthy at this point. Just an absolute menace to chaos. True Scions of Order. Yep, these guys right here. Love the Lion Chariots. Probably one of my favorite high elf units, to be honest. Nice breath attack directly on Sigvald. Does a pretty decent amount of damage to him. The single target damage of the Moon Dragon isn't as good as the Star Dragon, but it's definitely better than the Sun Dragon. So, it works. Charging down here. Get a nice attack. The Chariots kind of help separate Sigvald and the Sorcerer, which is pretty important here. Phoenix Guard continuing to hold. They're not really doing much damage, but they're here. And it looks like that terror route, I think, actually just triggers, or no, maybe the Warriors of Chaos player threw in the towel. Arguably a little bit early, but at the same time, once Sigvald was isolated there, he was going to get eaten by the dragon. So, I understand. Very well played to both, though. Big thanks to Norman for sending that one in. Yeah, a lot of value on that high Archmage, and I don't remember 100% if it counts the value of blowing up the artillery, if it counts the same as like killing the entire unit, or if it even counts it at all. But regardless, even without that, pretty good damage charging in, getting breath attacks and so on. Actually, maybe didn't get any breath attacks. Wasn't paying attention, but Phoenix Guard are able to do their part, kind of hold the line here. The Keepers of the Flame definitely get wrecked by the Hell Cannon, the one even, but you could kind of extrapolate that. If this other Hell Cannon's healthy and has its ammo, then the other Phoenix Guard might be dead too, and maybe the battle turns out differently. Lion Chariot's almost completely unopposed here, as the Chaos Halberds died to the Phoenix Guard, and yeah, 1200 value. As a result, pretty nice on Chaos side. Sigvald not actually getting all that much damage value. Marauders trade pretty okay. The Champs are also interesting choice here against the High Elves, but actually almost pay back their value. Halberds have a tough time. The Horsemen are definitely a bright spot. And then obviously the Hell Cannons. The one, you can see the difference between the one that was shut down immediately, and even this non-ROR has, you know, lower accuracy and fire rate, was still able to generate an insane amount of value, right? So it goes to show how dangerous Hell Cannons are in this matchup, and how great Soul Quench is at taking them down. So, a little bit else about Soul Quench. If I can remember, I'll put some cards in for some other recent battles, like the one I did about the Glade Dragon. The Wood Elves were using Soul Quench to, you know, to go after ranged infantry, and it's kind of a shootout. And then, obviously, I believe it was in the stream yesterday. I want to say someone else used Soul Quench to, like, snipe Balthazar Gelt, something like that. So, yeah, you've got Wood Elves, High Elves, and don't forget also Lizardmen can all take high magic. High Slon's not a super common pick, but he's here. And if you need to, say, take out maybe a cannon model, it is a little bit expensive to be casting. I guess only 7 winds of magic is really not too bad. You definitely could cast this like a cannon. I don't know on the regular one cast. I would need to do some testing to see if it would detonate a model, but definitely a possibility. Again, you can use it on infantry, you can use it on cavalry, you can use it on characters. Honestly, it's a very versatile magic missile. You can really use it against a plethora of targets, and the damage is pretty significant. Also has a really nice explosion, so it will hit, you know, like if there's a little crew of single entities standing together, let's say like 3 characters on foot, it will hit basically all 3 of them, only hit the full damage on one, but the explosion is significant. It does quite a bit of damage, so yeah, it's one of the reasons why it's so great. Also, the missile itself has a pretty fast fly time in comparison. If we can kind of look here at this, see, it travels pretty fast in comparison to something like, if we go look at Fireball, a little bit tougher because they should be, yeah, it's not exactly the same distance, but you get it. Fireball moves a little bit slower. Soul Quench definitely a little bit harder to dodge because of that speed, so definitely some benefits there. Of course, 7 winds of magic, really not much, and also if you have the Shield of Sapphire, at least for High Elves and Lizardmen, obviously Wood Elves get the different version that just gives physical resistance. Definitely much worse, but still, every time you cast, you know, you get a refresh of that, which is nice. Another way to kind of keep an uptime of that resistance. So yeah, overall, pretty underrated spell by me. I will fully admit, I have underrated Soul Quench until just recently, and I'm definitely going to be using it now as probably Wood Elves and High Elves, not so much as Lizardmen, maybe occasionally, but definitely something to keep an eye on. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Thanks again to all my patrons and channel members, and of course all of you for sitting and watching. If you made it this far, you are amazing. So we'll see you next time.